Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua states that I would love to fight Andy Ruiz once again to knock him out. And this is what he said, quote, he said, when I lost to Andy Ruiz, I got right back in there to train. He said it wasn't training to get fit. It was more the mistakes I knew I was making. The mistakes my training team have identified, and I went straight into the learning phase again. I learned about the mental aspect as well of the game. So I got tough, and unfortunately, it led to a performance where I had to stick and move because I didn't want to be labeled a quitter or a loser or someone that's not meant to be part of the heavyweight dynasty that we're in now. Yeah, I felt the pressure. But looking back, I'd love to fight Andy Ruiz again because rematch or no rematch, I'll knock him out. Wow. Those are the words of Anthony Joshua. Now, let me counterpunch. I know that the pressure was there. That's one thing that Anthony Joshua said that was apparent. Because when he lost, there was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of demand for him to redeem himself, to come back to America. Because, you know, that was his grand opening to the American market so people can know who he was. And all that was foiled when he fell in Madison Square Garden in June of last year. So there was a lot of pressure for him to perform, to react, to make amends. And he said, well, I didn't go in necessarily for, to get in shape. Okay, it wasn't to get fit. Well, I would disagree with that. I think Anthony was just too big. He was too big, and it showed because when he got hurt, and I mean, it's not like, people, I need you to understand something. It's not like Anthony Joshua threw 100 punches in the third round. He might have threw 6 or 7 punches before getting caught. And he missed every one of them. He was just trying to land that one more big shot to get Andy out of there, because when he caught him, when he caught him with that little minute right uppercut, followed with that tremendous left hook, a perfect knockout punch. Okay, and then that punch dropped Andy Ruiz, and Andy Ruiz went down for the first time in his career. So Andy was learning something new in there. But Andy got up. Andy showed resilience. And he knew, and he thought Andy was a lot hurt than he really was. Why? Because when Anthony Joshua hits someone with a left hook like he hit Andy Ruiz, they don't get back up. And if they do get up, they're ready to get finished. They're ready for the pickings. Okay? They're ready to get finished off. They're ready to get dusted. And that's what he thought Andy Ruiz did. However, that wasn't the case. So he went back into shape, and if you notice, it wasn't to get fit, but it was definitely to get conditioned, right? Because that weight that he lost, you can tell the huge difference from where he was that night versus where he was later on that year, this time last year, actually. Okay, so it was one of those things. I feel that, yeah, he had to condition himself, sure, mentally, but I think also physically as well. Now, a third fight with Anthony Joshua, with Andy Ruiz, would be a good fight. And I think what Andy wants probably more than anything is that particular fight. I think that's why he went to another top trainer that accepted him, because he wants the opportunity to redeem himself because of the way he came in with that piss poor performance and conditioning. And maybe, just maybe, Anthony Joshua wants to get in there and knock him out. Why? Because he was stopped in the 7th, but it really would silence the critics. It would. On top of knowing what type of condition Andy Ruiz was in. So if you knock out a conditioned, well-schooled and trained Andy Ruiz, motivated Andy Ruiz, you might be beating or knocking out the best guy in the division, or one of the toughest by far. Okay, so Andy Ruiz knocking him out would put that stamp of approval on his welcoming back as being a savage in the heavyweight division. So it is good to hear him say that. But if I was going to do that, countering further, I would do it in Madison Square Garden. I would go back to the scene of the crime where the crime was committed to the two-time unified heavyweight champion in the first place. And I wouldn't care what my manager or what promoter or whatever, Eddie Hearn, said. I would do that. I would like, nope, it's going to be in Madison Square Garden where it all began, and I want to fight Andy Ruiz for the third time. I want to come back and redeem myself where I lost it. I think that would be big, and it would be also symbolic, you know, and then he can have a true welcoming. And as far as the critics go and the naysayers, you know, that's something that Deontay Wilder said. You know, I would be going in there to knock him out, not stick and move. You know? So, but that's Deontay Wilder's mentality. He has his own opinion, and he has his own type of game plan. You know, his mind works totally different when it comes to that. He thinks knockout all the time, and now looking at that particular cat, if he can't knock you out, he pretty much can't beat you. But anyway, that's my short counterpunch on that side note. But he was also saying that of Joshua, that, you know, it was a jab and grab style. So he was one of the haters of Joshua as well, you know, along with others, because they were like, okay, he fought scared. He fought to the point where he was just trying to stick and move. No, he showed Andy Ruiz that he can box. He showed Andy Ruiz that, hey, you think that I'm robotic? Well, this robotic man is going to stick and move and box your head off for 12 rounds. And that's exactly what he did. You know, but I think with Anthony, the way he talked about, hey, he wanted to slap Andy Ruiz and punch him in the face and stuff like that, you can tell in signs of that rematch that he really wanted to go back to that old style, go back to the old me, right? You could tell. Because, you know, like, sometimes he would sit down on those punches, and then that's when Andy Ruiz was like, oh, here's my shot. And then he would start actually landing shots, because Anthony Joshua started to sit down on his punches, right? But he's quicker, right? So if you give him something that's stationary, he's able to attack, and that's what happened. So I think Anthony Joshua wanted that satisfaction to get that knockout, and that would be spectacular. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Anthony Joshua wanting a third fight with Andy Ruiz at some point of time to knock him out. Tell me what you think. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.